Joe. How are we doing?
Yes, my friend Tom. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm doing well, mate. Doing well, yeah. And great to be on the first episode of T.W.T, Talking with Tom. Yes, it's a new avenue for you in ex-media space, so it's always good to help out a friend.
Well, I mean, I couldn't think of a better guest. You know, you helped me get first in that podcast that you did.
Friend. Thank you. I mean, it's always good to help out somebody, and you know your stuff with the cameras, and I know my stuff with the radio. So it's always good to team up a bit.
Yeah, well, I like to think I know the stuff with the cameras. I pretend I do sometimes. So.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes. Really, I mean, this is going to be quite good fun for me because this is going to be a podcast where we genuinely haven't planned any of this. This is just going to be us basically go straight into it, and fingers crossed it comes out good. I mean, I love how free this is.
Yeah, talk about whatever you want.
Yeah, let's talk about it. I mean,
how's your training going for the what was the run you were doing again?
Yeah, so that's in June, that is. And yeah, that's in June, the half marathon or 20Ks, I believe it is. Yeah, really looking forward to that. Training's going well. I'm putting in some good times on the treadmill. I'm not doing outdoors just yet. I'm going to wait till about March time for that, I think. But yeah, putting in some decent 6 minutes for a kilometre time, so I'm feeling pretty good to try and beat my 2:03 I got in April. So we'll see how it goes.
That's good. How long have you been training for?
Been training properly for about the last month or so.
Okay.
I'm also trying to pick up my weights and my free weights as well, which is difficult because you lose so many calories each run. You're losing about 1,000 calories a run or whatever. So it's difficult to keep the muscle mass coming back in because you end up losing so much of it when you're doing your training. So for me, one thing I've been doing is it's going to sound stupid. Just drinking a metric ton of whole milk has been what I've been doing, and that's been keeping me up on my protein. So a few days ago, it was quite funny because I just went to Marketplace, the shop down on campus, and I just got a pint of milk and just drank that in the studio. And one of the people on committee said, "Why are you drinking a pint of milk?" I said, "Well, mate, it's got 5 grams of protein. I'm going to be drinking the whole milk instead of some fizzy drink instead."
It's a good substitute as opposed to drinking fizzy drinks.
It's better than drinking sugary rubbish, isn't it, Tom?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's not as good as your AG1.
AG1 greens.
AG1. My name is Andrew Huberman. For reference, we have a joke there was a joke that basically we'd start this off by going, "My name's Tom Swanser. This podcast is sponsored by AG1."
Oh, but then I have to edit that as well. So I need to go for my own.
What is your favourite podcast? I'm interested. Is it Huberman? Is it Rogan? Is it Modern Wisdom?
Subjectively, I would say Rogan.
Yeah.
But objectively, in terms of like the tools and stuff to improve your life, it's got to be the big man, Huberman. His stuff is just so influential, and all of this stuff he offers is for free.
Oh, no, exactly, which is crazy, isn't it? As long as you can get past 90 seconds of AG1.
I mean, you can just skip that on the YouTube slider as well. That helps. I mean, I do that pretty much every episode. He's also got a very catchy intro as well.
Oh yeah, very catchy intro. Not as catchy as Joe Rogan saying once every 10 minutes. Pull that up, Jamie. Pull that up, Jamie. Jamie's just doing more Googling than anyone in the world these days.
What about yourself then? What's yours?
Myself, yeah. Modern Wisdom, I would probably say. I went through a phase of listening to the Jocko Willink podcast. That was good fun. Because Jocko Willink, who, for those who don't know, former Navy SEAL, I believe, or just army man in general, and he just says it as it is, which is quite nice. I listened a bit to the Bedros Keuilian show as well. I said that is a good podcast, but it's mostly Modern Wisdom, and sometimes it is just sports stuff. For reference, I'm one of the sport editors at the radio station, and most of it was rugby podcasts, football podcasts, bit of F1 every now and then, which is okay from time to time, but if you keep listening to it every single day, it gets a bit boring listening to the same report about the same football game, about the same rugby game. For example, I don't want to listen to 5 days straight of people talking about Klopp leaving Liverpool, because that's just boring by day 5. So you end up chopping and changing podcasts, really.
Yeah, I think that's good. There's so much to listen to
as well. Daily Stoic podcast.
Oh yeah,
come on,
that's good.
And also the newsletter, which is really, many people don't realise that the newsletter's out there, but it's so good.
The newsletter? What's that?
The newsletter. You know the email you get every day from Daily Stoic.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant it was like a podcast.
No. But
I didn't realise you meant the Daily Stoic.
I go on my phone every day, and it's just, here is a 400-word passage from the legend himself, Holiday.
Have you read any of his books?
I haven't read any of his books. I really want to, though. I really want to read some of his books. I need to read Peterson and I need to read Holiday. Those are the two authors I need to read, I think.
Yeah, if you're going to get into Holiday's books, I would start with the Obstacle is the Way.
Yeah,
that's a great one.
That's what I think I would start with. It would be 12 Rules for Life and Obstacle is the Way. I think would be the top two on my list to read, really. Although these days I haven't got much time to read anyway, so
yeah, it's all your course, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, which is it's just 9 times out of 10 my brain is melting anyways because I'm reading books about whether or not the meaning of language can be defined by just what we think, or whether we have to be told something's true, and you feel like your brain's melting anyway. So I don't really have time for Ryan Holiday to be a great philosophical mind to teach me about ethics when I'm talking about whether or not a tree is green, and I know if a tree is green, or if I have to be told it is.
Do you think it's a bit of nonsense, some of the stuff that you do?
Yeah, no, some of it really is, and some of it is so existential to the point of it being ridiculous, and I do feel like a bit of an intellectual megamind sometimes. Like, yeah, here I am talking about whether I'm told something by my friend, whether that's knowledge or not. You do feel intellectual, but you also do think, how is this going to help me in the real world? And it probably won't, apart from the fact that you'll just be really good at arguing with your mates, which is pretty good for me because I'm a football fan, so you always argue with your mates, aren't you, Tom?
Yeah, it depends on what team you support.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you're a Liverpool fan.
Could
have lost to Arsenal. Could have sat with an Arsenal fan and watched it as well.
Could have been. Oh, well. He was just... The Arsenal fan that Tom was watching it with, who's the former PC of the station, he was happy because he wasn't up at 3 in the morning watching Arsenal this time round, which he normally is when he's in South Korea. He's up at 2 in the morning.
Cause that's funny because that game that he watched at 3 o'clock in the morning was against Liverpool as well. It's when we beat them at the Emirates.
It was, yeah. But yeah, he's in Exeter for the next few months, so he isn't getting up at the crack at all.
Well, he'll definitely be coming on the show. I definitely want to speak to him. I love Sumlock. He's great.
He's got to be coming on. Yeah, it's good fun. It's. Do you feel like your degree is any more useful than mine, or?
I do think some of the teamwork stuff is more applicable than the essay stuff. I do think essay research at the end of the day is helping you to develop an argument, which obviously is very important. Critical thinking. I like the group stuff because it gives you the chance to improve your leadership, teamwork as well. You know, organising meetings, working together as a team, because that's just, vital, regardless of what you do in life, isn't it? Really,
massive, isn't it? I do wish I had a bit more teamwork stuff in there. Although, I'm doing HR every day with the radio station. I don't really need, and so are you with Station Manager XTV. We don't need to do teamwork any more than we're always doing, because we're doing HR daily. I mean, today I'm going to message somebody to say, hey, are you all good for the commentary we planned a week ago? And I'm going to send an email to someone else. I mean, we're all doing HR, aren't we, Tom? Yeah,
I really think teamwork is one of those things people overlook. But at the end of the day, all these great things that have been accomplished by humankind are all down to team, aren't they? Really.
I know. God, this is. He really is the modern day Aristotle over here. He's got the haircut to be a Greek god. He's got the physique to be a Greek god.
I wouldn't say the physique.
Oh well, you've got more of a physique than me. At least you're not as thin as a twig like I am.
But at the end of the day, though, you still exercise. I think that's number one.
I'm still a beast at cardio. It's just being a beast at cardio isn't cool. You kind of want to get a chest pump instead, don't you?
Yeah, sometimes you do.
Which is fair.
It's quite nice. It's quite nice.
How was your workout earlier on?
So this morning I did chest, a bit of back, bicep and tricep. So it was the normal barbell bench press. Then it was the incline.
Machine, good to see.
Barbell row, dumbbell curls, and then it was dumbbell skull crushers to finish off the triceps.
Oh, love it.
Yeah,
nice.
You just feel great when you get it done in the morning.
Yeah.
You got any training to do?
I will do a run probably this afternoon because I'm busy this evening. But I'll probably try hit the treadmill later on today. Maybe do some pull downs as well.
Nice.
For the old shoulders and lats, we'll try to do that. I'm trying to target the shoulders first, and then I'll move to the biceps. I'm not going to touch my back because I've done so much cricket over the years that when I've had side strain, it sucks. And when I've had that back issue side strain, I've just been in pain for days. So I'm going to just avoid the back at all costs, really. Just go shoulders and lats, really, and go to biceps in the end. But we'll see how it goes, really. Legs, I don't need to do legs because I'm doing enough running anyways.
Yeah, you sound like Mikhail, don't you, a little bit? Because
well,
he does football and he doesn't like training legs, bless him.
Well, Mikhail is running about 16 Ks in a week. Well, I'd say to him, I'm running about 50 Ks a week right now. So get real, Mikhail. You're not running as much as I am, mate. And but yeah, it is good fun. It's just that you can't really show off the leg muscles much, apart from if it's intramural netball, really. So unless you just wear the skinniest of skinniest jeans, which is not a good idea.
No, not when you're playing netball. That looks pretty disgusting. I'm not gonna lie.
No. It's good fun, isn't it? It's you've even got chief of bodying people over here, so opposite me.
Yeah. Oh my god. I think it was like. Who was the last one? I think I clotheslined the girl or something.
Well, there was the girl that landed square on her elbow like this from about 5 foot in the air on week 3 last term.
Yeah,
it might have broken her elbow or arm.
Without the context, it makes me sound like a woman beater or something.
Well, it's just nuts because there is no way that netball's a contact sport. Somehow this man makes it a contact sport. Somehow, some way, he makes it a contact sport, which is hilarious. I got into a bit of a fight last time out when I was playing on Sunday as of recording. There was one guy who'd been playing basketball, obviously, and I mean he was travelling more than a transatlantic ferry, honestly, and it wasn't very fun because I was just shoulder barging him the whole time. This guy was about double the size of me, an absolute unit of a man. And he was just travelling all the time. So at one point, I think me and the now vice captain, since you've given up the role, Tom James, we all got a bit rattled at one point because this guy was just doing more footwork than Michael Jackson at one point. And yeah, oh well.
Do you remember when we watched James play for the first time? He did like Bambi on ice.
Oh, he was doing a bloody two-step. He was the whole time. I love him, and he will be a future guest on the show.
He will be.
James, but yeah, he was doing a two-step every time he got the ball. Bless him. Oh. And he's a Saracens fan, which for me is just a massive red flag if you don't know the story.
What's that? Sorry.
Saracens got relegated from the Premiership Rugby a few years back because they got caught way over the budget cap on their wages and got relegated to the Championship. So the rule of thumb in English rugby, everyone hates Saracens because they cheated and paid their players way too much money, won a bunch of Championship titles, and then got relegated because it got found out.
Is that budget stuff? Is it like similar to like financial fair play?
It's
in football.
It's salary cap. Salary cap. So it's not quite as the same as financial fair play because that's to do with transfers. For those who don't know football, it's salary cap. It's wage cap. So basically, they were caught giving their international players too much money. That was it, and they won a bunch of titles and got relegated because of it.
Oh, so they actually to the league stripped it away from them.
They kept the titles, but they got relegated to the Championship.
So similar to how Juventus did in the early 2000s.
Yes, yeah. Although Did Juventus keep their titles, or were they stripped from them? Because I think Saracens kept their titles from that scenario. Although I do know about that Italian football story, which, by the way, we're going to be recording about that in the next few days, about that. But I love the fact that Italian football's never too far away from a scandal involving betting, corruption, or match fixing. Most recently, it was the Sandro Tonali thing at AC Milan with the betting.
What was that?
Well, Tonali was caught betting on a bunch of AC Milan games, and so were some referees as well.
Jeez.
Italian football, Calcio's never too far away from some corruption scandal.
Tonali he plays for Newcastle, doesn't he?
Newcastle
but I guess is that betting them as they like banned him from playing, similar to how it happened to Tony.
So he was given, I think, a 7-month or 9-month ban for that, and so Calcio's never far away from a scandal, which is terrible, but true, painfully true for me.
Do you remember your first football match that you watched?
First football match I watched. Are you talking at a stadium or just watched on telly?
On telly.
On telly. I will. Oh, hang on. Let's have a think. Probably going to be, I want to say, a Champions League game in 2008. It's going to sound a shout, but something like United versus Young Boys or something like that, or United versus Basel. And that was back when Champions League was on ITV. The days where that was on ITV. You could watch it for free. Champions League football for free on the telly in the UK. And I remember that weirdly. I think the first international game I can remember weirdly is the USA England World Cup game with the with the Rob Green howler.
When
the ball just curls through his legs at about 0.5 miles an hour, and he isn't quite there to get the ball back, which is about a good. That is a pretty good baptism of fire for being an English football fan, of just disappointment, disappointment by the time you're 6. First game in person is going to be League One at the Amex, Brighton and Hove Albion, Seagulls versus who was it against? I want to say Peterborough. I think it was League One football, Brighton Hove Albion versus Peterborough at the Amex. Wow. Back in the days where they had the old kit that had the gold stripes, the gold pinstripes, and Donatello's was the sponsor. By the way, Donatello's is just a local Italian restaurant. And they sponsored
that's crazy to see how far you guys have come.
They still, and by the way, they still do their annual Christmas dinner at Donatello's to this day. 2023, they had photos of João Pedro and Danny Welbeck all having dinner at Donatello's in Brighton Town Centre, having their Christmas dinner, because they used to sponsor them way back in the day from Withdean and whatever. Good fun.
How's it seen that progress that you guys have come across?
It's been nuts. It's been crazy because I'm slightly too young to remember the Withdean era, which was beautiful. For those who don't know, Withdean is an athletics track in Brighton. It is an athletics track in Brighton. I used to go to college about 5 minutes away from there, and it is just an athletics track. And because they got kicked out of their old ground, which was called the Goldston, and they then had to do a ground share. They went to Wimbledon for a bit, Gillingham, they played games at, and then they just got an athletics track in Withdean, on the outskirts of Hove, which they had to put temporary stands up. It seated about, I think, 2,000, 3,000 people. And because it was in the middle of nowhere, they actually had a noise curfew. So they were only allowed to play music for the first 2 minutes of the game at 7 o'clock or whatever. And then it'd be a noise curfew past that because they actually get complaints from the locals. And it was like 3,500 attendance. It was the worst away end ever known. It was temporary stands, no cover. If it was sheeting it down, raining, good luck, just bring a coat with you. And they played there for about 4 or 5 years until they got the planning permission to build the Amex. And do you want to know a great story about that, Tom?
Go for it.
So, essentially, where the Amex is built, it's in an old medieval farming village in rural East Sussex called Falmer. And it's medieval. It's got loads of old mills and kind of windmills and houses for grain and whatever. And there are a bunch of, I'll be frank, old people that lived at this place, and they didn't want a football stadium to be built 10 minutes down the road. So they went to Lewes District Council, lobbied the Lib Dems, and said, we will vote for you in your Lewes Council election, because at that point Falmer was still part of Lewes District, not part of Brighton and Hove. And we will all vote for you, and we will try and make sure that you get into power in the council. So all that happened, the Lib Dems won the election, blocked the stadium from being built back 2-3 years. So, some Brighton fans thought, you know what, let's do politics ourselves. They made the Seagulls Party and actually won so many votes, not seats, votes, that the Tories took power in Lewes, kicked the Lib Dems out, and the Tories actually gave the green light for the Amex Stadium in 2009.
Which way did the Seagulls Party swing then?
So the Seagulls Party had genuinely no affiliation with no other party. It was just, do you want a new stadium built for Brighton Hove Albion? Yes, vote for the Seagulls Party. That was their only policy. And they won votes. They beat Labour and they beat the Greens in some of these wards. I'm not kidding you. Seriously.
That's good.
I love how just small town history it is.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's brilliant, like, how the origins start from such small things.
I love it. Imagine being a glory hunter and supporting Liverpool.
Imagine your first goal, or the first goal that got me into football was Luis Suarez against Norwich City when we beat him 5-1. That during that season when we came second.
Yeah.
We don't.
There is just something about Norwich getting destroyed 5-0 that happens every single year, isn't it? I don't know why, but Norwich just have that weird knack of losing 4-5-6-0.
Especially when Luis Suarez played for Liverpool. I remember when he left to go to Barcelona. And John Ruddy, the Norwich goalkeeper, he tweeted about time. Well, thank God for that. Something like that.
That's quite funny. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was
good set of gnashers on him too, as well, isn't he?
Yeah, do you know what? For his antics, it's a shame because the antics and his skill level are two completely different things. He's an absolute, a bit of a bumhole with his
a bit of an idiot,
a bit of an idiot with his antics, but like player-wise, skill-wise, he's just exceptional.
Beautiful player, absolute idiot of a person, but his football skill amazing. Same thing goes to Maradona. Probably not a very nice person, but a football genius. Same thing goes for Suarez. Is there a better front three pairing than MSN? Or do you think that will ever get beaten? By the way, MSN, Messi, Suarez, Neymar, Barcelona 2015-16.
Yeah, I think Ricky Lambert, Fabio Borini, and Mario Balotelli was.
No, you're forgetting Andy Carroll as well.
Oh, Andy Carroll, but he didn't play for us. He was gone by then.
Was he? Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he went to West Ham.
Yeah. He went to West Ham in 2014.
We offloaded him to West Ham and.
Bought him for 35 million from Newcastle.
That's crazy because we bought Suarez the same. That was like a double reveal.
Benteke as well. He was on your books at that point.
Yeah.
When he was being a beast at Aston Villa.
And we just stole him
because he 20 goals a season.
Because he was scoring against us quite a bit. So I think
he was,
instead of getting him to score against us, we might as well buy him so he doesn't score at all.
First it was Ronaldo, then it was Christian Benteke.
Yeah, I remember that goal we scored against Man United.
Oh,
Benteke's that overhead kick.
Yeah,
exceptional.
The way, all these people saying Garnacho's bicycle kick was the best. Rubbish.
You think?
The Benteke one. It's because of course it is.
You really think Benteke?
Rubbish. It goes Benteke first, Rooney second, Garnacho third. And I know Garnacho's going to win the Puskas Best Goal Award this year, but I don't care. I'll stand on my word.
You stand by Benteke?
I stand by my word, yeah. I stand by it.
I love that. I appreciate that.
Save the chest.
Being a little save the chest. Absolutely. The chest.
And then fifth is the Alireza Jahanbash one. No, it's not. It is not.
Which one's that?
That's one that Jahanbash scored for Brighton a few years back. Bicycle kick, and all the Brighton fans were a bit confused because he scored the goal and then Jahanbash just started bawling his eyes out about a second afterwards and was crying for about 2 minutes. And it was like, you've just got one of the best goals in your career, mate. Why are you crying your absolute eyes out?
Was it like bawling? Some sort of emotional thing? No,
it wasn't. Like, nothing had happened. He just scored the goal and just burst into tears.
Is it because he realised he played for Brighton, not someone else?
I don't know. He's still doing a good job out at Feyenoord in the Eredivisie these days over in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's what else can we talk about apart from football? Big story yesterday. The King.
The King.
The King has been diagnosed with cancer. Massive story, isn't it?
What type of cancer was it? Because I didn't actually see the news until this morning that he got diagnosed, but I didn't know the details.
They haven't said what it is. So essentially, King Charles III, His Majesty King Charles III, even let's use his full title, he went in for some surgery for a benign prostate enlargement, and then 2 days later, as of yesterday, as of recording, was it the 5th of February? They've released he's been diagnosed with cancer. They haven't said what form. They said it wasn't prostate cancer. That's the only thing they've said, but it's a form of cancer. Apparently, they've caught it early. Sunak was saying they've caught it early in the press earlier on.
But that's good. That's a good thing.
Massive news story because the days of monarchs getting seriously ill has gone. It's past really. The last time it happened was George VI, but that's because he was a chain smoker. And funny enough, if you're a chain smoker,
you're going to die.
You end up getting some serious lung diseases and issues with that.
Yeah, I'm currently reading the Oppenheimer book.
Oh yeah.
And you can throughout the book you can tell he smokes quite a bit. Like there's references to how he smokes.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm aware, he dies because of his cancer.
We'll chat about being straight edge later on as well. We'll chat about that because both of us don't drink or smoke.
Yeah,
We'll chat about that later on, and the fact that we're annoying so-and-sos to our mates that smoke cigarettes. I'm talking to you, Tom James, and those who drink as well. But let's go back to the King Charles story. It's massive, isn't it? I mean, nothing gets bigger story than, the King's got a potentially life-threatening illness.
If he was to go, who replaces him?
William.
I don't know. My monarch knowledge is absolutely terrible.
That's fine, to be honest.
So it's nice to speak to someone that knows something.
I couldn't really give monkeys about the royals, but that's by the by. Really, I just follow the news a bit more than you do, which is probably a bad thing because if you follow Ryan Holiday, he says to to stop watching news, doesn't he? So
depends where you get your news sources from. I know you do multiple, don't you? You have left multiple. And right.
I do, and I'm also quite careful to go for mainstream and non-mainstream sources. So I go for the mainstream media. I go for BBC. I go for Sky. I go for Al Jazeera if I want a more Arabic Islamic take on the world instead of going for the sort of Euro-Western focus. I might even follow from time to time stuff from Subcontinent, NDTV for India, and ABC for Australia. And also internet, I will go for a lot of non-mainstream media. So I'll follow news sources both on the left and right, and because they don't have to be impartial on the internet. I'll follow Novara Media on the left. That's famous for having Owen Jones on there previously, and Ash Sarkar, for example. And I'll also follow right-wing sites like MyR2C and also Rebel News, I think it is. And that isn't to say that I agree with everything they all say. That's to say that I just want to get that broad range, because I don't want to be skewed either way, because it's very easy in the modern age to get skewed by modern media.
Getting caught in echo chambers is terrible for your opinions and growing as a person.
That's why
scary.
I love someone like Williamson, Modern Wisdom. Even if his politics maybe has an individualist slant, which could be considered more right-wing to left-wing, he doesn't talk about politics as much. And I think that's one thing that I love. It's one thing I sadly have to say I've gone off Jordan Peterson for, because he's gone all for the culture wars issues. And
he joined the Daily Wire, didn't he?
Yeah.
His advice. You mentioned his book earlier, 12 Rules for Life, is a great book. You know, some of the stuff is like tidy your room. It sounds very silly, but stuff like that is
true.
Brilliant advice.
This is the thing. Being a self-reliant person doesn't inherently make you right-wing, but going out and saying, oh, XYZ, trans, XYZ, woke, I don't want to hear about everything that's bad in the world sometimes. I can't lie. You
just need some advice on how to live a better life.
I just want advice on how I can clean my room, basically. That's what I want. But is it the same for you in terms of your news, or do you just try and stay out the news entirely and just focus on your own self?
So I mainly use an app called Ground News. Very good app. So basically that just tells you the biases and what the news sources that you're reading. It's absolutely brilliant, because you mentioned getting caught in an echo chamber and how bad it is. BBC News from time to time, mainly for the sports though. The football.
I respect that.
I do on YouTube subscribe to both sides. So I think I had CNN at one point and the Turk's Head.
Yeah. Not Turk's Head, Young Turks.
The Turk's Head is a restaurant in Exeter.
Turk's Head's a pub in town. Yeah, Young Turks. By the way, can I just say, have you seen the election 2016 video about Young Turks?
Is that when Alex Jones walks in?
No, it's not. So it's hilarious. I'll send it to you. It's
the one when in the meltdown they're so confident that Trump's going to lose, and then over time they just start.
The clown music starts playing in the background, because they go from saying, we're going to get the first female president ever, and it's like, oh God, 99% chance of a Trump winning, what's happening? And you just see the slow meltdown of their faces.
Yeah, that's...
Sorry, I just had to say.
No, you should have. That is a brilliant video. I absolutely love that video.
Funny. I urge anyone to watch that video, because it's so funny. I don't care if you're left-wing or right-wing, just watch it.
You've got to have a laugh. It's brilliant. Yeah. So that's the left-wing stuff.
And
the Guardian as well. Nice. The Telegraph on the right. Fox News. But to be honest, I don't really go on YouTube that much for the news stuff. I do more of the just videos that I enjoy watching.
Nice, yeah.
Some fitness stuff.
Yeah.
Chris Williamson.
Yeah.
Jocko Willink from time to time.
Are you the kind of guy who watches the hydraulic press videos where they go boom?
From time to time, yeah. They're very impressive. I think the weirdest one I saw was of a tooth.
A tooth? And
how strong a tooth actually is.
Weird one for me as well has been the carpet cleaning videos. You know those ones. So what they do is they'll get a clip at the top, which will be like somebody giving a speech or whatever, and it's just a time lapse of a guy cleaning a carpet, and it's like soap, and then they sweep it away, and soap again, and water. But
how did you get onto that? Like, how did your algorithm prompt you to get onto that?
I'm just a weird guy, I suppose.
Is that from watching the Peterson videos of tidying your room? You get given a guy tidying his room.
I'd laugh if it was. It's probably just the case that that's the algorithm now. But it's I don't know. I also try not to follow YouTube. I don't go quite as much as you do, Tom, and have a quote that comes up and goes sort of, if you give up now, someone else will win.
Oh, God.
Tell me about your News Eradicator plugin, because I love it.
So that basically just gives you no way of seeing a newsfeed unless you disable it from a temporary basis. Right. I've applied it to Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. And I can't really see the stuff that
does it really help your productivity?
Definitely Facebook, because I only use Facebook for Messenger. Okay, and even then I don't really use it that much at all, because WhatsApp is the main way of communicating nowadays. Yeah, sure. Definitely Instagram, and LinkedIn probably not as much, because I go on for like 1 minute, 5 minutes, whatever. Scroll down. Yeah. Okay, it's pretty boring, and move on.
Who through LinkedIn for fun, apart from just trying to see if you've got any new connections?
Or who's posted what, or who's bigging themselves up, sort of thing.
Bigging themselves up. Who's posted a podcast episode like myself or whatever?
Who's definitely not going to do that as well?
Yeah, who's not going to do that for this? I wonder. Who's not going to plug themselves with the YouTube and say, "Hey, listen to our podcast"?
But joking aside, though, it is a good way of networking and reaching out to people.
Oh yeah, no, it is definitely, and I use it as just an online CV. That's what I use it for.
Exactly.
Which I think is the way to look at it. I'm one of the people that tries to post few and far between. There are some people, expose, who like to post every single thing they do. Oh, I went on this call with news associates. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, I can't wait to have them on for them to watch this and see this part. They're gonna.
I love you. Expose, I love you. But lay off the LinkedIn post for a bit, please. Especially you, Gracie. You're one of the worst people for it. But,
Gracie, yeah.
Yeah, bless her. But yeah, it's just LinkedIn's its own world. Also, LinkedIn's hilarious because you learn how to speak a different form of English. I'm delighted. I'm honoured. I had a great time.
It's an English that feels like you're sacrificing your soul a little bit. Do you know what I mean? You have to sacrifice yourself to post on it.
You are selling out, aren't you?
Yeah, you are at the end of the day. But you've got to do it, haven't you?
You've got to do it to get that job, haven't you?
Exactly. I have seen the benefits of LinkedIn with my own friend who graduated from here. So he studied sociology. Nice. And he basically kept posting on LinkedIn just random stuff. Nice. So he then got an offer from a big job in London. Whoa. That's paying a good salary. I think it's in trading, I believe.
Oh, I love it.
Or sales. No, sales. Yeah. I'll have to get John on, or
to be fair,
when he gets a chance to correct himself.
Say, certain sectors do love LinkedIn, namely finance and media. Those are probably two of the ones that love it the most. It's finance and media, I think. Because there's a reason why the business school does LinkedIn headshots for free.
Oh my god! I remember I walked past one of those. You have all these people.
You got one of them?
I've walked past it after a lecture last year.
Ridiculous.
It does a little bit, but I feel like we all go try to get the best picture of ourselves for LinkedIn, don't we?
I've got it.
You got the one with your boxing, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got one from me when I was doing a boxing press conference. I'm wearing a suit and I've got a button. I've got a lapel mic and I'm holding a microphone. I'm kind of talking like this to everybody, going, "Welcome to Xbox, the press conference."
What was that like, that event?
Oh, it was great fun, and I loved it because I'm a massive fight fan, and it was great fun because we got a message from the boxing clubs like, "Hey, do you want to do some coverage of our fight night?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course I want to do coverage of your fight night." So we did press conferences. I got to be that one kind of Eddie Hearn sort of guy asking questions like, sort of, "Are you going to win?" Sort of, "Are you going for a TKO or a knockout or points decision? What have you got over your opponent? Are you trying to get in your opponent's head?" I was taking myself way too seriously. And then we went on to the actual fight itself, fight night. And I was given the amazing chance to do ring announcing, which was so fun. And it was just amazing because there I was going, "It's time!" I went full Bruce Buffer on it. And I loved it because I was there in my stupid bow tie tuxedo, looking like a prat. There I was going, "It's time for your main event." I loved it.
That's brilliant.
I loved it, man.
Yeah, I mean, you put yourself in the situations. You're good at it. You are really good at it.
Mate, I try my hardest, and it is the way I look at like things like this, for example. And I sincerely hope you're being entertained on YouTube. Is that you're entertaining people, and there's nothing better than entertaining people sometimes. That's why I always try to amp up my energy. Tom will know this firsthand. You might not if you're listening to this or watching this, but this character I'm playing now, it is different from how I am off microphone. I am talking a bit more like this. Sort of, this is how I talk normally, and I'm quite I'm quite flat and I'm quite this. But when I'm on a podcast, it's a bit more.
You're being a character to it, don't you? It's like it's acting.
I'm acting. I'm playing the character of Joseph Terry when he's doing a podcast. So it's all about trying to entertain people and perform. So it's a very you have a very interesting view of your personality because you almost learn how to turn it on and off sometimes, which is quite funny. You've got that to learn because most of your stuff's been behind the camera, but
yeah, this is when this starts changing. Getting in front of the camera, start presenting as well.
Are you nervous or what?
I'm actually enjoying it. I'm not going to lie. You get that moment of nervousness, but I guess everyone gets that.
Yeah, everyone's had that.
You got to overcome it.
Yeah.
Get used to it.
Definitely.
I think it's like getting rejected and stuff as well, isn't it?
Is there a particular reason why you've wanted to do more stuff on camera? Because I'm intrigued to see. Because you just sort of gave me a message in September. It's like sort of I'd like to do more radio stuff, or I'd like to do more stuff on camera. So is there a reason why, or?
Yeah, I want to improve my speaking.
Right, I see. Cool.
From like as a young child, I've always struggled with speaking, public speaking.
Not that you could tell.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. But even from a young age, like my granddad, I remember this when I was a kid. He would take me he would try and teach me how to pronounce certain words because I had like a bit of a stutter and a bit of a struggle with speaking. Yeah. So I believe that comes from having Asperger's. Yeah. I think that's a thing you get is you're not really that articulate, or you need to work on it as well. And to be honest, I think doing this, speaking in front of the camera as well, is quite nerve-wracking in a way. But I know over time, like however many episodes I do of this, I'll be able to look back at this first episode and think, wow, I've come from that guy to what I'm doing now. It's brilliant because I know someone who does her own podcast. She's on the committee for XTV. Belle, one of our heads of creative, she does her own podcast every Monday. Yeah, I believe it's Chinese Mondays.
Yeah, she's great.
She's lovely. So I remember she was saying to me how she developed her speaking and got better at presenting over time with doing the podcast and just speaking into a camera about random stuff. I think that's brilliant, to be honest with you. Yeah. It's not about being massively entertaining to people because there's so many podcasts out there just. I know. Much more entertaining.
There's also loads of white guys making podcasts.
Exactly. There's probably much more people to tune into, more people to tune into, as opposed to myself.
Yeah,
but
it's interesting because podcasting is tricky because firstly you've got to make whatever you talk about sound interesting, and you've also got to find a gap of what you want to talk about. So something like this is just a really casual talk show, which is good, and that's what made Joe Rogan so popular was because he was just a guy going, "Hey Jamie, pull that up," and just
talking about DMT,
talking about
red meat,
talking about MMA, talking about bees and queen bees, talking about whether the Earth is flat, random stuff, absolutely random, and it was a different thing every episode, wasn't it?
He's a bit of an inspiration as well to me for this because I just love the idea of just talking to random people about anything. I don't have anything to bring, like, as in, like, I don't want to bring a certain topic and that's all we talk about. I want to talk about everything. We've talked about different things today. We've talked about the news, King Charles. We've talked about football. Now we're talking about ourselves, talking about different things, the stuff that we've talked about. I feel like there's also so many people there's people that have so much to tell. So many different things to tell. You've got a lot to talk about. Whoever's next guest will have something different to talk about, and it's brilliant because I feel like people should be able to say what they want to say.
Definitely, no, I agree, and it is an art trying to make something sound interesting. I've got this on my own show, and it's tricky because there you are talking about some really insider stuff, like, for example, whether or not there are enough electric chargers or whatever because it's a car show, and you've got to make that sound exciting somehow, some way. So you learn how to be a great seller. It makes sense, but you learn how to be someone who sells everything and just sells it like a pro. And you've got to go in there and go, there just aren't enough charges around, or whatever, or something like that. And you make something that's quite boring, quite interesting, which is difficult, very difficult. But you're doing a good job so far. So
thank you, man.
I congratulate you on that. It is intimidating talking in front of.
Do you remember your first episode of Accelerate?
I do. It was shocking. It was absolutely shocking. I played this to you a few days ago, and it was terrible. So I can't remember what I was talking about. I think I think I was talking about World Rally or Extreme E, and it was off-road racing or whatever, and it was just sort of, hi there, welcome to Accelerate, your weekly pit stop for motorsports and road car news. My name is Joseph Terry, hope you're having a great day. Now imagine if I had spoken like this for the next year. That'd be really boring, wouldn't it?
Do you think you would have gotten to how many episodes you got now?
Where I've recorded 70.
70. Do you think if you kept that personality of quite timid, like a bit boring, you probably would have kept up with it?
No, I wouldn't, because it would have been so boring for me as well, because it just wouldn't have been interesting. And that's why I like doing it, is that actually I can pick a topic and then I can just freewheel it. So I recorded an episode about Top Gear being cancelled in the UK. And I went on a 4-minute tangent about how new Top Gear was a failure, and about how Chris Harris was being misused, about how Freddie Flintoff was not a car journalist, about how the old Top Gear was just better. Now, I wouldn't have done that in the first few episodes, because I would have tried to be really super professional and would have tried to be really sort of clean cut and
uptight and
oh, look at me, I'm a serious journalist. And now I'm just a guy who's a petrolhead or a motorsport fan who just goes, let's talk about this story. Did I think Top Gear was great? No, I thought it was rubbish. And that's the interesting thing, is that it's about trying to make it sound interesting, which, yeah, I hope it's not too much. I hope it's not too much, and I hope that people don't get fed up with me being that man that talks a bit too much about cars. But it's good fun, really. And the thing is that there is no one else I know who does a car podcast in student radio.
That's brilliant.
Across the whole of the UK. And I'd also challenge anyone from X Media, if you're watching, to try and find someone you know who knows more about cars than me. I challenge you.
That's a challenge and a half, that is.
It is, but I challenge you to find someone else who could give you enough knowledge I've got.
I think, doesn't Harry from XPressionFM know a bit?
Yeah, he's an F1. He's a motorsport guy. He isn't so much of a road car guy.
Oh, I see.
So that's the difference. Is that I've got the tricks of the trade from having a granddad that used to work in the car industry.
Yeah, I remember you saying when we did the November special.
Yeah. Which is on YouTube, by the way.
Check out XTV Online.
Don't forget the online.
You mentioned that. Did he get you into cars?
Yeah, well, basically,
motorsports?
so he was John Ratcliffe. He was one of the MDs of Caffin's car dealerships, which is one of the biggest dealership groups in the south of England. And he's talked to me about cars ever since I was really young. Whole family's into cars, really. My mum worked at Caffin's and worked at other dealerships when she was about my age for a bit before she got married and had children. My nanny or grandma, but everyone else called her but nanny for me. She worked at a tyre shop. That's where she met my granddad, and her dad was a stunt rider and speedway rider. Ran dealerships. He was at one point the youngest speedway rider in the UK, youngest stunt rider in the UK at 15.
Wow.
Running through plates of glass, plates of glass, ring of fire, wall of.
No, sorry, you said grass. I was thinking.
Plates of glass, ring of fire, wall of death, all that jazz. And yeah, my granddad left school with a maths qualification and managed to get his first apprenticeship sweeping up the floors of a garage. And then 5 years later, he was one of the youngest people in the country running a garage by his own.
Wow.
As the director in Surrey, in the Surrey Hills. And then 5 years later, he was given a promotion to work at Eastbourne. Then he got the mega promotion. He was running 2-3 garages at once for Caffin's, and then 5 years later it was 5 at once, and he was almost like the chief overseer of all the stock. There's a great story he told me when he went to Ashford to look at some cars, and he realised that on the books there were lots of used cars going missing. So he went to a garage in Ashford where he just looked up all the reg numbers, and he rang up head office and was, hey, can you do a registration check on all these cars? And he said, yeah. And then the person came back and said, yeah, all these cars are meant to be in Caffin's Ashford. He said, no, all these cars right now are in a random independent garage in Ashford, and I think they've been stolen from us. Can you start the legal paperwork? But he was that guy that would go around trying to basically oversee things. So that's why I love cars, because he's talked to me like I've been part of the office for the last, well, basically 13 years, ever since I was 6 or something like that. He's talked to me like I've been part of the office.
Is he still around? Or
yeah. So
you have to get. Have you spoke to him about getting him on your podcast?
Oh, I have before. Yeah. So he retired from the industry only about 10 years ago. Actually, he had some issues with his stomach, so he couldn't really work any more days than 2 days in a week. So he just packed it in anyways. But no, I have thought about getting him on a podcast before, and it's great fun because that's why I know a lot of stuff about the motor industry, because he's talked to me like I am part of the industry. So a lot of stuff I'm talking about EV chargers, about used car prices, about inflation of car sales and parts and whatever, I know from him, which is why it's quite interesting to position I take, because I'm not just talking about, oh, that car looks cool. I'm saying, no, this is how it works running a dealership or whatever. It's good fun.
Grandparents are so wise, very wise.
They're so wise, and
very wise.
And also, he is a real inspiration to me, because he came from a not very nice childhood home. He was shipped off to boarding school, wasn't really dealt with very much. Really sort of messy childhood. His dad was actually declared bankrupt when he was about 19, and yeah, he basically didn't have a dad, didn't really have a loving mother either, and then just had a loving family despite that, which is often the case, isn't it? That people that have bad childhoods have great lives as parents or grandparents.
Yeah, it's humbling to see that as well in your family, to see where they've come from pretty much nothing to then become something, really, and humbling.
And that's why
be loving.
That's why I'm all about hard work, and that's why I'm all about just getting in and doing it, because he was an apprentice, and from what I've heard from him, basically he got a promotion just by basically sweeping up when no one else did, when no one else could be bothered. He would just be sweeping up the garage floor when no one else could be bothered.
Well, I can definitely assure you definitely work hard.
Well, thank you, my friend. Thank you.
You are one person who definitely has a good work ethic.
Well, thank you, but that's the reason why, is because he started off as an 18-year-old, 16-year-old even back then, a 16-year-old that was just sweeping away dirt with a broom, and that's why I'm quite humble. And that's why That's why I always try to get in as much as I can and do things like the podcast, because there's nothing worse than a handout for me, and he got very little handed to him. He ended up basically being an apprentice, which is a shame.
You feel like you're earning it, don't you?
Yeah,
the attitude of earning it, as opposed to like, I want this and that, give it to me.
Certainly, and that's the thing that I take from his story, is that he is a very stoic person. He's probably got, as I said in our November article that I wrote and co-wrote, a great article, Tom, and great debut on Expose.
Thank you, man.
Say, he is somebody who's probably got lots of demons that he doesn't say, and he is a very stoic person. But I respect his dignity and his class to not say it all the time and just work. And that's amazing for me, really. That's why I love cars, really.
It's hard as well when you've got demons, and if you drink as well, because I know we said earlier we don't drink.
Which by the way, for me has been the best move I've ever made in my life. I've never felt more sane in my life. Don't know about you, but
mate,
moment that you stopped drinking, I don't know about you, but for me, that was just the moment where I felt the most calm in my life.
I agree 100%. I know there's reasons why I don't drink. I mean, one of them is I couldn't really handle my drink when I was younger. Yeah. I'd be quite angry.
Thing is that I handle my drink.
I remember when I was in a relationship when I was younger, and how like insecure and jealous I'd get when I'd drink. There's a moment where I think I headbutted a wall.
Now that sounds like some prime Trenet story.
Oh, it makes me cringe thinking about it. Yeah, God. People who went to college with me, they could definitely tell you some stories about my drunk episodes.
Get them on podcast.
No, I think it depends. I mean, one of my friends that I went to college with, Tom, you've met.
Yeah.
We went to the old firehouse.
Yeah.
Me and him been friends. We've known each other since 2016. So we did
day ones.
we did NCS after school.
NCS.
You heard of it?
No,
National
I didn't do it,
Citizenship
but
Service.
I've heard about it, and I've seen the memes. It's quite funny. Just the jokes at the expense of NCS.
Yeah, but it's crazy to think like how long we've known each other for, and seen how we've both changed as people.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom's gone from some scrawny, skinny guy to like this huge man, this absolute unit rugby player guy. Like his physique is impressive. Beautiful. Not that I'm staring at him all the time. That sounds a bit dodgy, but he is one handsome hunk.
He is a handsome guy. He's handsome. It's true, isn't it? For me, it's like, I know that there are some real downsides to not drinking. Firstly, social events are a pain because you are the one sober guy and you're just like this.
It teaches you in a way to learn to socialize better, because I feel like when you have a social lubricant such as alcohol, it can really help you build up a confidence to speak to people.
Definitely.
Like with not drinking, you've got more. I would say anxiety in a way to then speak to other people. You're more aware of what you're doing. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think that's also a good thing because you're less likely to do stupid stuff.
Sure, but the thing is that if you're in like a nightclub, a nightclub is a pretty bad place to be if you're sober and you're just.
Unless you can dance really well.
Yeah, which I can dance well.
Can you?
The issue with that is that you then get quite tired, so you end up being that one guy that gets a cup of water.
I've never seen you break it down, so I need to
wait until the traffic light social on the.
I won't be going, my friend.
Oh yes, because you're already taken down.
Yeah, I think might be the summer soiree at the end of the year. Then I get to see.
We
had the boogie or something,
boogie.
last time.
But yeah, it's although I have to say one thing, I've gone sober at a good time. Because it seems to be now that all of your good beers and lagers and stouts have now got really good zero alcohol versions. And that wasn't the case 2 years ago. I had a Guinness Zero watching the Ruggers, watching the Six Nations. That was a really good Guinness. It was a good Guinness, the Guinness Zero. And I don't mind it.
Do you know there's much of a difference then in like taste wise between alcohol and non-alcoholic?
Guinness I think is the only one where you can't taste the difference. I can taste it for a lager. So a Heineken Zero, I can taste the difference. That tastes really bitter for me. A Peroni Zero is okay, but a Heineken Zero, that is a bit too bitter for me. So I don't drink that very much. But a Guinness Zero for me, no difference. Honestly, I know that you just stay off the zero stuff anyways, but...
Yeah, I'm just a Pepsi guy, Pepsi Max, whatever. I'm a bit boring, orange juice, cranberry juice, but...
What, so you're a Pepsi guy instead of Ronaldo? Oh, you must get the joke.
Is that the, when you put the Pepsi down or something like that, and then they like...
It's a joke that you call Messi Pepsi because he's got all the Pepsi adverts.
I've never heard that. That's good. That's good.
So, is that just because you just like your fizzy drink, do you?
Yeah, I mean... I don't particularly drink like juice or anything or Pepsi Max. I mean,
spikes your blood sugar anyway. So
it's not just that. It's just you save a bit of money when you don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I go to a restaurant with friends, I'd always just ask for some tap water or something.
Yeah, obviously.
Pretty boring. I get mocked, but
cheap at Frank and Manco, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
You're spot on about that. But no, fair enough. I mean, if there is anyone who's had a great dry January, wants to keep it going,
would recommend it. Highly recommend it.
I recommend doing it because it's good. And also, no cigarettes either. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm
not coughing up a lung every time I run 5K.
Have you ever tried one?
No, never. Never will.
No.
Have you tried one?
No, I never have. I have been tempted to try one. Not like, because someone's offered it, but I just wanted to think or have the taste of it. But even then, I grew up and my mum always smoked.
Really?
And you'd always get the smell of, cigarette and ash.
Did your mum tell you not to smoke? Because my mum, from a really young age, because her dad smoked and then quit. So my granddad, that is, who is the car guru, he smoked about 40 years and then he quit really, really quickly in about, I think it was 3 months or whatever, or 6 months.
Do you know what it was?
What it was?
Do you know why he kicked it in?
I think it was probably because I think everyone got sick of him smoking. I mean, my mum hates anything about cigarettes. I mean, she spent her childhood sat in a car full of cigarette smoke. And from I can honestly remember, it's going to sound stupid, from about as young as about 4 or 5, I can remember my mum saying to me, "Don't smoke, Joseph, don't smoke." So it's just been drilled into my head, you do not smoke cigarettes. So I never tried it, but was your mum the same, that she told you not to start because it was difficult for her to quit, or does she still smoke?
She still smokes. I think it's more my dad that told me not to smoke, and even then, I think just the smell really puts you off.
Yeah.
And when you understand like what it does to your body, and like how much
it's just interesting because my mum's
how much you spend on it as well.
It's just my mum's drilled it into me to never smoke, and I didn't know if that was the same for your mum.
No, mum wasn't particularly interested in trying. Like I mean, I did want to try one.
Yeah.
And maybe I will one day, but I don't. I think just the amount of money you spend on it.
It's better than vaping.
Yeah, you look better. You look better. Like
you look a lot better.
How many films have you seen like when a guy whips out a big cigar like a bad guy, like a villain?
Yeah.
Can you imagine that as like a vape? How stupid that would look.
Oh yes, I'm sucking on watermelon sugar. Ooh, ooh. Yeah.
I feel like, can you imagine
all these people are now going to be crying their eyes out because they're going to ban them in the UK now. So all these people have just been addicted to something so highly addictive, and they won't be able to get it from the shops now in a few months' time.
That's their loss, isn't it? I think. Can you imagine like not Darth Vader? I think he doesn't smoke at all. Like I don't know why I was going there. Yeah. Like from James Bond, I don't know any James Bond villains that smoke, but could you just imagine a vape coming out?
Pulls out the Lost Mary. Oh well, could be worse.
Could be worse, couldn't it?
Could be worse.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah. When do they start banning the vapes?
I think end of this year. I think it is.
End of this
year.
But
I don't know. They've just announced that they're going to introduce legislation for it.
So is it actually banning?
Yeah,
the vapes, so you can't. No one under a certain age, or is it just all but vapes?
I got it wrong. They're banning disposable vapes, so they're the little ones.
Right.
But they will still sell the massive units that they sold back in the day, which were meant for people that were trying to stop smoking cigarettes.
Yes, so the one where you put the oil in.
Ones. Yeah, the oil ones that look like a sort of
some sort of screwdriver thingy in your hand.
What do you call it? A stapler almost.
Oh yeah,
as big as a stapler type thing like that, but they're getting rid of the little ones, the pens.
Yeah. Do you remember when vaping started actually becoming a thing? What year was it? 2020.
2020. Yeah.
Was it before
COVID? 2019, because there was a few points at school where people had started vaping at school. I think 2019ish.
Yeah. Do you think people did it because they thought it was more healthier than cigarettes, or is it just because it's cool?
Contagion.
Social contagion.
Social contagion for me, that. It's got to be.
Yeah. I mean, is it worse than cigarettes, vaping? I don't know.
Well, this is the thing. Technically, there's no proof to say that vaping is less bad for you. Technically speaking. So there's nothing proving that it's worse. There's nothing proving it's better. Basically, there is no scientific literature, because the reason why a lot of the time that people ended up stopping moving from cigarettes was that basically there was 40 years worth of academic literature saying that people got lung cancer.
Ooh.
No, but think about it. When did they stop saying that smoking cigarettes was healthy? 1950s, 1960s.
Was it that? I thought it was like 80s.
That they stopped, that they banned you from smoking cigarettes in bars.
Early 2000s, wasn't it?
1990s, 2000s. So basically, it's going to sound bad. It was 40 years worth of evidence. Is John, who's been smoking a pack a day for 30 years, going to die of lung cancer?
Most likely.
But that's basically it. So the issue they've got with vapes is that they don't have the long-term data. All they've got are a few freak cases where people have had lung issues, but that's because they've been quite young. You're talking 13, 14-year-olds. They don't know the side effects for a 21-year-old, 22-year-old. So that's why there is a cheap get-out-of-jail-free card for people to say, oh, vaping's good for you. Because technically there's no academic literature to say it is worse for you.
Yeah.
We don't know. I mean, all I'll say is this. PSA to everyone who vapes. They're making these vapes for about 20 cents and they're making a profit.
Really? Is that it?
Yep.
Where do they... What is it? Sweatshirts? Sweatshops?
It's sweatshops in China. They're making these for about 20 pence each.
Damn.
I'm not going to trust something that's produced for 20 pence. And sold for 20 as well. And talk about the markup on that. Talk about profit. Bloody
Yeah.
hell.
I mean, what's that saying? Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Sure.
You know?
Or hate the vape.
Hate the vape. Or just don't vape at all.
Or just don't vape at all and just be straight edge like us.
Yeah. I think I also am tempted to try a cigar one day as well. You know, have you seen the videos of Arnold Schwarzenegger of like his big vape? You know, Stoogie.
I will smoke my Stoogie.
He does look pretty badass, I'm not going to lie. Like an old guy, who's done so much in his life. Have you seen the Arnold documentary on Netflix, by the way?
Great.
Absolutely brilliant.
I love Arnold. I love him. He's a flawed character, but everyone's flawed. And I think his work ethic is
insane.
Astounding.
How you go from being a bodybuilder to a politician and then to an actor, or it's an actor then a politician, and a governor.
Honestly,
that's insane.
His work ethic is amazing, and he's underrated in the class of bodybuilders because it's in that steroid era, and I think that's unfair. I think his work ethic is still amazing. I still class him up there with Ronnie Coleman. I still class him up there with Bumstead. I'd still class him up there with the greats. I think I would. Because he's
a beast. He's a beast.
I'm not arguing that Bumstead is probably doing a better job because he's well, I don't think he's natty, Bumstead. Is he on testosterone? I think he is.
I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't.
I can't prove that. I don't think he's natty, but he hasn't taken PEDs.
Yeah. Did you ever see the Modern Wisdom episode with Chris Bumstead on, and how it just looked like a cinema, didn't it? It was beautifully shot. 4K cameras, all of this production value just for a guy talking.
Oh my word!
Absolute beast, absolute unit of a man.
Again, I'm straight, but what a handsome man!
Yeah, it gets me questioning sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
What a handsome boy!
What a handsome hunk he is.
It'll be sad when he retires from the bodybuilding.
How old is he now?
Well, I think he said that he wants to win maybe 1 or 2 titles, and then he's just going to go and have a kid, which is fair enough.
Yeah, I think that's good.
I'd rather go and have a family than
go for
my heart health.
Yeah, smart, very smart. Yeah,
it is. It makes sense to me, really. It's interesting to see. I can't wait to be a dad. Fingers crossed I get to be a dad, my friend. What
are you looking for? Like do you care? Nuclear family? Boy or girl?
Family, nuclear for me. Yeah. I've quite liked I've loved the fact that my dad has been around and that my dad has been able to help me out from time to time, and he's really helped me out over the last few months. And yeah, kind of he was it's a fairly traditional family. Mum was at home caring for the kids. Dad was getting a train to London every day, coming home again at 6. I mean, COVID was a bit of a godsend for us because he was working from home. So for the last 3-4 years, we've all been having dinner together for the first time ever, which is quite nice.
Yeah, that's nice, man.
Ever since we were like a toddlers, basically.
I remember when I was a kid. My dad come home from work, similar time to yours.
Yeah.
We'd have our chicken nuggets and chips on the oven. The staple diet, and we would watch The Simpsons. Because we'd always catch the last 2 minutes, the outro of Hollyoaks.
Yes.
Then it goes straight to The Simpsons. Me too.
Yeah. Yes, I love it. Someone else was watching Channel 4 and Simpsons. I love it. Yes. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
That and chicken nuggets and chips is so rare as well because my sisters are famously picky eaters, and they're better these days, but they were pretty bad back then.
Did you ever have the smiley faces as well?
Yes,
and the chicken nugget dinosaurs.
Yeah, I didn't have dinosaurs, but I did have smiley faces. I had smiley faces. What else? Just fish fingers as well.
Fish fingers, yeah, the little bird's eye ones,
all the
Tesco's ones.
What else? What else was on the staple? Like sweet corn.
Sweet corn.
That was on the diet a lot.
McDonald's.
Not really. No, not much. We weren't really. We still aren't fast food people. We're all fairly.
That's smart.
We're all fairly frugal, really.
Very smart. I know. Growing up, our family wasn't the best diet, most staple diet. But I think as you get older,
why you're so fitness orientated these days, or not really?
Yeah, I've come to realise how much your nutrition really influences your life. You know, especially like your mental health. Like, I know it's a bit of a buzzword today. It is, but like generally
But you're spot on,
how clear you feel mentally. I cannot, since I've changed my diet, I think it's been 2-3 years since I last had brain fog.
Wow.
Or, you know,
It's amazing, man.
it's incredible, really. It's something you just don't think about
No, you don't.
until you get older. Then you try it, you're like, oh, wow, this is brilliant. It's like a cheat code in a way.
The only thing that tempts me would be a lovely, juicy burger. That's the only thing. And I'm not talking a McDonald's burger. I'm talking...
A proper burger.
Proper burger.
Homemade or like something you buy?
Both. I mean, it depends what kind of cut of beef you're getting. It depends what the grade of beef burger is that you're getting. That's the thing. That's the only thing that tempts me. That is the only thing that will get me. But yeah, it's what else can I think of that's sort of a staple of my childhood? Disney Channel, because I had two sisters.
Disney Channel.
Massive Disney Channel people. What else? What else was on the TV at that time?
Watching Madagascar, Home Alone.
Yeah, a bit more Cars, of course. Lots of Disney.
Bambi.
Lots of Toy Story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. It was good fun because I had a bit of an interesting sort of childhood because, of course, you are always outnumbered, and I will be outnumbered forever. So you would be there with kind of playing with toy F1 cars, which is what I had. I had these like little plastic toy F1 cars, and they would have their old tent princess castles up in the lounge wearing princess dresses or whatever, and you've just got to sit there and watch. Basically.
So you were outnumbered by your sisters, whereas my sisters had the opposite. She's outnumbered by two brothers, and I'll tell you what, you can definitely tell if you ever come over to the Swansworth household, she is sort of...
I've got to go.
She gets picked on quite a bit, bless her. And obviously that's in good intentions. We're not like actual bullies or anything. But, oh man, it's brilliant. You know, having the laughs we can have with her.
Yeah.
She's good. She's definitely takes after our dad as well a little bit. You know, she can joke very easily. She can give a joke. Good humour. Very good humour.
Love it. That's cool. Yeah, it's interesting because for me it's a very different relationship because for me it's I do very much fit that stereotype of oldest brother. I will be the protector if dad is, or if mum or dad aren't around. I very much fit that stereotype, which I'm fine to do. I've accepted that, but I do very much fit that stereotype of I will be there just in case. Yeah,
well, one of your sisters gone off to uni now, isn't she?
Yes. In fact, she's coming for an offer holiday here.
Today?
No, not today. Early March. 2nd of March. 2nd of March. So.
Are you going to give her the tour?
Yeah.
Studio?
Yeah. So whole family are going to come down. We think drive up on the Friday, and she's got 2 offers to do English here. So yeah, immensely proud of Rosa because she got to interview stage at Cambridge. Didn't quite get the place, but I'm still immensely proud of her. And it's interesting because I sort of hope I've set them a good standard to look out for guys as they grow older and older, and maybe there is another important boy or man in their life.
There'd always be. Have you ever seen Bad Boys?
Yes.
Do you know the scene I'm talking about?
Funny,
that iconic scene when the guy walks to the door.
Yeah.
And it's.
What are your intentions of my daughter? It's quite funny.
Do you think you'd be that guy?
Well, no, I already have been to a certain point. So my younger sister Sophia, she, I suppose you call it boyfriend, but you're 13, so nothing's really that serious.
It's not that deep, is it?
But it's he was just being really weird to her, and he was. Bless him, he was having some issues with his mental health, and he didn't know how to deal with it. So he started sort of saying to his sister, "Oh well, why aren't you helping me? Why aren't you talking to me? Why aren't you making me feel better, or whatever?" And bless her, Sophia, being an absolute angel that she is, she's totally forgiven him. I have not forgiven him. I have not forgiven him for saying to my sister, "Why aren't you helping me with my mental health?" I still do not like him to this day.
You know, in a couple of years' time, when he's older, he'll look back on that and cringe at that.
No, he will.
There's stuff that you've probably done when you were younger. I know there's stuff that I've done when I was younger.
Oh, there is
so much. I cringe so much at.
For me, it is, and you will be aware of this somewhat from me playing Inchborough netball, is that if you think I'm competitive at sport now, you should have seen me 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I'm talking, get out in batting, cricket, which is quite common for me, because I'm shocking at batting, and then throwing the toys out the pram, throwing the gloves and throwing the helmet, I'm walking around the pitch. I'm sulking on the tree for an hour. Oh, it was shocking. If you think I'm, as in, my competitive level that I'm at now, dial it down. No, dial it up even. Dial it up by about 3 times, and that's how it was about a few years ago. You know how competitive I am now, anyway.
I've seen it in bench ball, and in netball when you're running around.
That being 3 times worse. It's bad.
If compared to Mikhail, how competitive?
Compared to it's not as bad as Mikhail, because Mikhail goes to violence. I never went to violence. I just went to extreme self-discipline to the point where you'll just run back and, right, yeah, go, mate, go, just get bold, just go. Yeah.
Do you think that ruined the fun for you in enjoying the sport?
Slightly, and it's sort of why these days I'm a lot more relaxed, and I don't really care about outcomes as much these days. I just do it. And it's weird because these days I try to channel that aggression in more healthy ways by good work ethic, doing good exercise, and still taking myself seriously in terms of my sport and my competition stuff. But it is, yeah, I've still got that streak when I play cricket sometimes. And if we do turn 3 rounders, which I really want to do, in Chamorro, get me on picture. Because when I was playing cricket and I was angry, I bowled about 3 times as fast. And I'm talking properly, just
going for it.
Gung-ho, go, fast twitch muscles, let's go. Because I would hit about 50-mile-an-hour deliveries if I was genuinely angry.
You know, you'd get along really well with my dad. My dad, he used to play cricket. He was the captain of his B team. You two would be like 2 peas in the pods.
Yeah. Like, it's cricket culture, I love it so much. I wish I played more these days, but I can't stand university sport. So,
what is it? Just too serious, or is everyone's
too
scholar
like fraternities, too much like sororities? It's too. I don't like the idea that I am now your best mate because I'm on the same club as you. Like, for example, I'm friends with you, Tom, because I'm friends with you. I'm not friends with you because we both do media.
Yeah.
For example, I'm not going to be friends with Joe Bloggs from the cricket club just because we're on the cricket club together.
You'd want to be friends with them because of who they are, not
exactly.
what the situation is.
Yeah, definitely. Are you the same? Do you mind saying the embarrassing thing or not? Or if you don't want to say it, you're more than welcome.
Say that again, so.
So, you said earlier on that sort of there were lots of embarrassing things in your past. As long as you're able to...
Yeah.
As long as you're comfortable saying...
It was mostly just being, like, really insecure in my, like, early relationship, man.
Right.
I had low self-esteem. Self-esteem, bro.
That is a bad mix.
Yeah, it is. It really is a bad mix. Yeah, man.
Oh, no. Insecure, low self-esteem in a relationship.
Damn, man, it's a bad potion.
Would you have done what the ex-boyfriend of my sister would have done and could have be like that? Because that's why I've got some sympathy for him, even if I don't like him.
I'd be honest, probably. Most likely, yeah. You know.
Because I just think that's what you do when you grow up. You're better off getting relationships when you've grown up, I think.
When you matured. I think it's also nice to experience heartbreak and stuff. Not nice. Yeah. Important. That's a better way of putting it, because you know
I experienced heartbreak last year, so I know.
When you go through it and you get over it, you're like, that's how you do it, or you learn how to get over it better. You know, just working and being busy and keeping your mind off it is key to do it. Getting over it, really, man.
I got the ultimate mixed messages last year, and I've learned from that now.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, a mate of mine actually ran into her recently at a social. It was quite funny. He messaged me and said, "Hey Joseph, it was the girl who you had a thing with last year. You actually saw her. I thought she'd vanished off the face of the earth." It was a good friend of mine, and I talked about the story a few days before, and then he messaged me and was like, "Hey Joseph, I think I ran into her at a party."
Have you bumped into her since?
I have. Oh, you've just made me think of a great story. I bumped into her in a nightclub.
In a nightclub?
In a nightclub.
Was that last term?
It was last year.
Last year.
And I bumped into her in a nightclub, and it was so awkward because she then tried to chase me around the nightclub to have an argument with me.
Oh.
Yeah, not a good look.
That is
not a good look. To be fair, lucky for me, it was right. I was going to leave soonish anyways, so I ended up going regardless. But yeah, I was getting chased around by this girl and 3 of her girlfriends.
Damn.
Around
that must have been an interesting sight for a bouncer, to seeing you running around.
The funny thing was that I was totally sober, so I had my wits about me. She'd been on the drinks, obviously, And I was totally sober by this point because I just didn't fancy drinking. By that point, I was still drinking, but I just didn't fancy drinking at night. So I remember everything to a T from the whole situation. I remember where I went, which direction I went, when I left, whatever. It was good fun. Yeah. Good fun.
Yeah. It's nice. It's good that you can look back on that and laugh at it as well.
No. I laugh at myself because I just think of all the people to get caught in that situation, it's me, the guy who's got about as much sort of Riz as kind of a 40-year-old virgin, basically. I mean, but seriously, it's true. I've got him there.
Your Riz will get better over time.
I will.
We've got matchmakers on Sunday.
I've just got that. I just need to cash in that most eligible bachelor and ex-media award.
Well, you think about it on Sunday.
Yeah.
Matchmakers, mate. Matchmakers.
I'll be wearing green, obviously, ladies.
Yeah.
Ladies, if you're listening, I'll be wearing bright green.
Bright green.
If you want to be.
No, that's the traffic light on Thursday, isn't it?
Oh yeah, traffic light's green, isn't it? But yeah, matchmakers too. Yeah, matchmakers. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's hope I get more than 2 days like I got last time because no one turned up.
Yeah, well, this way I'm hoping it's gonna be different. We've got a method of how we're gonna get it done.
Nice.
You know.
I know that Flo New, one of the heads of news, is one of the matchmakers themselves. And
is she?
Or she said that she was involved with it. I think at least, but
We'll see.
We'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to it.
It's gonna be good, man. It's
gonna be good. Fun. Gonna be some housery. It's gonna be some housery. It's gonna go on.
Yeah, you got any lines ready?
No lines. I don't need lines. I've just got that. I've just got that silent Riz, mate.
That's all good in a way though, because I feel like it's sort of a bit cheesy when you come out with like this quote book or something of like, what should I say at this moment, sort of thing, you know.
What is it? Are you a fortune teller? Because I'm seeing the future.
I've not heard that.
No, but to be fair though, the thing that I've got going in my favour is that I'm just generally quite good at social interaction, so I don't need to pluck the courage to talk to people.
Yeah.
Which is okay.
You also got to realise it is a charity event and it's nothing like serious.
Shoot your shot, get rejected 99 times, succeed once, bish bash bosh.
There you go. You'll be laughing. It'll be
Who
fun.
Needs that? Who needs to get fed up about not getting taken?
Exactly.
I mean, lucky for you, you are a taken man yourself. So.
Yeah, I am. I'm lucky. Yeah, she'll also be there on Sunday.
Yeah,
she might help you.
Can't wait to see her again.
Yeah,
she's
great.
Wait to see her.
I can't wait either, man. It's gonna be good
because I've seen her for a while, so.
Because she'll also do your she's doing some of the matching as well. So we'll see how it goes. You might get lucky, you might not.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I just hope this time round that there are some girls who are into guys and it's not just all girls who are into girls like it was last time round. Yeah, that was quite funny.
That's going to be an issue, isn't it? You have like
that was quite funny. And by the way, nothing against it, but it was really quite funny that last year I think I don't know the stat, but it was something just off ballpark figure about 70% of all the girls were into girls and weren't into guys.
Really?
But yeah, or it was a large number, and it was quite funny because I remember going around and I was just trying to break the ice with some girls and whatever. And I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And like, some of them just straight away said, "I'm so sorry, but we're into girls." And I was like, "Really? Well, are there more girls who are into girls next than I thought there were?"
Yeah, apparently so.
Unless Raz just came in and
they brought their committee. They probably brought their committee, which is 99.9%.
Hijacked the whole event or whatever. Yeah. I love you, Raz, by the way, but the stereotype is true.
Well, I'm hoping on Sundays could be an even split, or not as bad as that. That would be quite funny. It would be funny, but also quite.
If I got pied for the second year in a row by girls saying, "Yeah, we're not into guys," sorry, I'd laugh so.
That'd be a highlight. I'd
laugh so hard.
That'd be something we would bring up at Summer Soiree at the end of the year.
That'd be quite funny.
It would be.
Oh well.
Joe.
Yes.
It's coming to the end. It's almost 11 o'clock. We've got another show. Someone's got a show after this.
Yes.
So
it's been a pleasure.
It's my friend for the first episode of T.W.T. I love you, man. Thank you for coming on.
Too, mate.
Tell people where they can find you. I mean, I'll put the handles in the description.
At JW_Terry then for your pit stop and one-stop shop for motorsport and road car news. See, I've memorised that word by word. It is at XPressionFM, execeleratepodcast. Cheers, Tom.
Joe, love you, man. Thank you.
Love you too. See you soon.
Thank you, everybody.